Welcome, everybody. YouTube. This morning, Donna and I are here. Say hi. Good morning, Donna.
Hi, and good morning to you all.
And I'm going to spotlight us both so we can be side by side. This book club, this is the book that we are reading. So if you are joining us in the book club, make sure you have the book. If you don't have the book yet, it's called Creating Money Abundance. It is loaded with some good stuff, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff today. So welcome if you're coming into the Zoom room with us. You'll just stay off camera, stay muted, enjoy what we're going to chat about, and then when we're done with YouTube Live, we'll have an amazing conversation here in the Zoom room. And if you're not in the Zoom room with us, come play with us. Come on in. You can go to tabithabenway.com and register for the Zoom room to come in here with us and enjoy a much deeper conversation with us after the live on abundance, and come activate abundance in your life. Donna, you were talking about what you were reading this morning on abundance, and then we'll jump into the book. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. I listen to a meditation every morning and have my quiet time. And this morning's meditation was actually about abundance. It was about blessings and abundance. You know, we're in the month of November, which is often Thanksgiving. Everybody goes into gratitude. And what really struck me about this meditation was he referenced, and it's a biblical scripture-based meditation, but he referenced the story of Job. And when you think about abundance, we in the world often think of it as money. We think of it as position. We think about it as the things that we own. But he referenced the story of Job, and Job he lost everything. And he said, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, but I am blessed and abundant. And it just struck me. It was like one of those light bulb aha moments that abundance isn't anything outside of us. Abundance is who we be. It comes from within. It's who we are. And when we live from that mindset of being, embracing who we are as abundant, then all of the things that will come our way.
Yeah, it's like it's a mirror for us. All of the things externally are a mirror for what's really going on inside. And yesterday, Terry said it in a way that I also loved, which was, it's not about money. Money is an effect. Money is the effect of being abundant. That's exactly what you're saying. It's being, when we really live into and be that abundance, the effect is the external things. The effect is the money. The effect is the things that overflow in our lives. Yeah, so rich, so beautiful.
Powerful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. So today we get to talk about, okay, this one really, really hit me. I'm going to read it directly from the book, and it's a little long, so stick with me. And if you're reading it from the book, it's on page 22. And it says, some people hope that when they have money, they will be able to stop doing the things they don't enjoy. I mean, how many of us have had that thought? I want to create money for freedom, or I want to create, it's really important to get clear on what we want to create it for, because that helps us to anchor into the ways of being and the essences, which we're going to get into more in a little bit. But we have this idea that when I have a certain amount of money, then I can stop doing the things I don't enjoy, or I can create more time freedom in my life, right? And it says to begin to let go of doing things you don't enjoy, learn to honor and respect yourself more, or respect our time, right? You can begin by learning how to stop doing the small things you don't enjoy right now. As you do, you gain more honor and respect for yourself, and will build up to doing only things you enjoy. And I just think that's so, so important, because I remember a time in my life that I absolutely believed that was my goal. My goal was freedom. Freedom is still a very important thing for me. That's something that I stand for, that and abundance, freedom and abundance. But I had a belief in my life that if I, created a certain amount of income or whatever it was around money, that I could stop doing the things I didn't enjoy. And it's actually, again, just like we were talking about how it's the opposite of, creating abundance to be on the externally, to experience it on the inside. It's also the opposite in, we can absolutely choose things now and start that path. So wherever someone is, to look at it and go, how can I honor myself and respect myself at such a high level that I don't do the things that are taking from my life or that I don't enjoy? Obviously, there's a caveat to that. We still do. There's things we're walking the path that we still do that we may not enjoy until we have fully developed a working situation to let go of all of those things. But curious your
Two
thoughts on
things
that,
come up for me. Two
Yeah.
things on this one. One is I've always told my children, it doesn't matter how much money you make, do what you love.
Mhm.
And I think after 58 years of living, it's like we have choices. So even when you think, and this is the abundant mindset, the abundant way of being, is that understanding that you do have it, you have choice, you have control. When you have choice, when you have control over your life, when you see yourself as abundant, then where was I going with this? The recording kind of threw me.
I know, I kicked the recording on and threw you off a little bit.
But when we think of ourselves as that being, we get to choose to do the things that we love. And again, reminder of our first conversation that when we first came on, that an abundance is a way of being. It's not something outside of us. It's not something we achieve. It's not something that we go after. It's who we be. And then the other thing that comes up for me, and again, this is all about mindset. When you think of what it is that you're doing, there's two things. One, even if you don't love what you're doing right at the moment, change your mindset, change your words. Words have power. I get to do this thing. I get to have this job. I am blessed. This morning on my Scripture for Success Live, I talked about abundance, blessing, and gratitude. So when you're abundantly minded, you're blessed to do the things that you do. And then you're grateful for those as well, because that blessed to and thankfulness changes your perspective. And then it doesn't become hard. When you feel like you have to do something because I need the paycheck at the end of the week, or I need, when you have to, we've automatically in our mind made it hard. The other thing that, when we're blessed to or get to, and we're grateful for it, you come at it from a perspective of abundance. You come at it from a perspective of, okay, I'm choosing to enjoy this day, regardless of the number of meetings, regardless of the number of tasks, regardless of, what it may look like now. Shifting your mindset, shifting your words. And I always, I said this the other day, thoughts, words, actions. How you think determines how you speak determines how you act. So I always go back to TWA. When we want to reach abundance, check our thoughts, check our words, check our actions, and then that shifts, because that's where honor and respect comes in. It's not you're a slave to your job or you're a slave to your finances. It is really about stepping into who you be and saying, you know what, I am blessed to do this. The second thing that comes up is the Big Leap book by Gay Hendricks, and it's work in your zone of genius. I made a shift. I retired as an executive in July from a company I'd been running for 8 years. And I knew that I was stepping away from this company, even though everybody else thought I should still stay in it. And because I wasn't working in my zone of genius. And so now I get to help other people build. I love to do that. I love to build whether it's personal one-on-one working with, executives, or working on a startup business. I love to build because that's my zone of genius. Know who you are. Again, if you're mindset abundant, know who you are. And then you will understand what you're really, really good at and live in that zone of genius. Because you're living in that zone of genius, you will see everything as abundant.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely falls within the honor and respecting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing that comes up for me is, as a parent, and there's things in our lives that we feel like, oh, but I can't just not take care of my children. I can't just not, whatever it is, move the, I don't know. I don't know what would fall into that category for you, but I'll just go stick with the parent thing. Like, I used to do so much for my children, and I realized not only was I overwhelmed and filling all my time with the things that they needed, I was also doing them a disservice by not supporting them and becoming massively independent. And so, yeah, Terry, know who you are, right? Yeah, exactly. Know thyself. Was it Socrates that said that? I don't know. But as we look around and go, okay, I'm doing a lot of stuff and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Maybe it feels like you're over giving. If you are doing a lot of stuff that you're not enjoying, it's not about just taking it off the plate and dropping the ball. It is about, okay, how can I shift? Like Donna was sharing, how can I shift into something that is my zone of genius, or shift into things that I enjoy more? And what are things that I'm doing that I can also lift others up around me, grow them into being independent, into being their next level, whether it's my children or whether it's, people on my team that I'm supporting in their growth, that I'm actually up leveling them while also valuing my own time and honoring and respecting myself.
Yeah, I love that you shared that. My children are grown, but it doesn't matter. They're always here, and they always, need support. And I think the other thing on that is, when you honor and respect yourself as a parent or whatever position you're in, that delegation, that enabling, that empowering other people. So think of yourself, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you work or whatever that is, you're a leader in your space. And that leadership doesn't mean I have to do it all. That was, oh my gosh, I spent years thinking that I had to do it all. It makes it very hard to run a company, a department, or anything else that you're in life, if you feel like you need to do it all. And I was in the training room this weekend and coaching, and I had, a task that was assigned. And it was like, yeah, I don't need to do this. I set this up and I invite everybody else in to come and fill in the blanks. And that way we're working as team. And when you think of a family unit, how powerful is it when we give our children the opportunity to step up into their power and you're not only honoring and respecting yourself by not carrying the busy label and the overwhelm label, you are empowering them to say, I am able to do this. I have this within me to do that. And that is just a beautiful gift that comes out of abundance when we allow everybody around us to be a part of who we are, and we honor not just ourselves, but we honor those around us.
Absolutely. Honor and respecting their brilliance as well. So powerful.
There is a parent book that I have to just say on a side note.
Okay, yeah.
It's How to Stop Whining, Complaining, and Bad Attitudes in You and Your Children. One of the best books I ever read. It's funny. You can read it with your children. And my kids were quick to point out and said, and it says, Mom, and you, not just your kids, and you, stop whining, complaining. But the whole book is about honor and respect. And it's about, when you're building an abundant life, if you want to teach your children an abundant mindset, teach them honor and respect as well.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned Gay Hendricks' book too, The Big Leap. It is one of my all-time favorites. And definitely in this conversation, you're all going to hear about lots of great books that we love. So if you are here and love reading, take notes. The next one that we're going to dive into that we talked about a little bit is on page 34 for those that are following along in the book. It is, what essence or functions do I want from this? And so I'm just going to break that down a little bit. And one of the things that I teach in the abundance workshop, or that we go into, I always say, I don't teach, I extract. I pull information from the collective so that we're all enjoying the wisdom that is available. And sorry, I'm going to read the comments to you all as those come up too. So Terry says, love Gay Hendricks, Living in Your Zone of Genius. Another one of his books. Absolutely. Oh, speaking of living in your zone of genius, we just talked about that too. So essences, when we're talking about essence. So if you are thinking about, okay, I want to create abundance in my life, there's a reason that we want to create it, right? There's nobody that says, okay, just would love a bunch of cash sitting around. That would be great. That doesn't change anything, right? There's something that we want to create or experience with it that we're saying, okay, I'm going after my next level because I want to experience this, right? And I spoke into how freedom was a big one for me. I know freedom is a big one for a lot of people, whether it's just taking things off of their plate that they don't want to do, or they want to leave a job or travel, right? So what is it that is truly what we want? And it's different for everybody. It's a little bit different for everybody. And it's really important that we look at that for ourselves, that if I understand why I'm doing this, then I can actually begin to experience that now. And what are the ways I can begin to experience it now? We just talked about ways to experience the time freedom and honoring and respecting ourselves. So for some people, it's security. For some people, it's fun. Some people, it might be love. Like they may feel like, I can experience more love in my life. But whatever that is, it's so important that we get underneath that to what those essences are or qualities that we want to experience.
Yeah, it reminds me of the conversation that we had the other day about, knowing your why and knowing your purpose. And when you identify that, because what I heard was essence and functions, the essence of what you want to create, the abundance you want to create in your life is then backed up on, I'm an analyzer, so I'm always thinking of the steps to get there. But when you understand your why, it makes it easier to move. The path becomes clearer, and it makes it easier to move forward into what it is you want, and you get clarity on how to get there. So that would be the function of, as I'm hearing that phrasing. But gosh, knowing your why is a big part of abundance, and it's a big part of freedom. It's a big part of honoring, because we can get so into the doing as human doings, yet we're called to be human beings, and human beings have heart and passion and drive. And when you come from that space of creating abundance in your life, then all things are possible. So always know your why. Have a vision for what it is that you want to create, not just for yourself, but really for the world around you, because everything you do, whoever you be, we are not individual containers. We impact so many people in the world around us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our why also drives, it drives us forward, but also gives us that anchoring back to, right? Because it's shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, I could do this and I could do this, and life's a big buffet, and I'm just going to fill up my plate, and then too much stuff, and now I'm overwhelmed because I don't have enough time, and it's kind of like eating too much and feeling so full and not comfortable anymore, right? So when we are really intentional about, okay, this is my intention, this is where I'm going, and it's very clear, then things that we get to say no to, because there's lots of great things as we really step into abundance. We go, oh my goodness, life is abundant. I could just do it all. But we really get clear on the things that aren't our highest, and we can easily say no, and that path becomes so much more clearer.
Yeah, and the why just reminds me of a roadmap. So if you're going on vacation, we just went on a trip to Florida, and I got to see lovely Tabitha and as on that trip, but it was an abundant trip because we knew where we were going ahead of time. We mapped out the path to get there. We experienced things that weren't necessarily on our, radar on our map and our drive, but we were able to really embrace it because we knew where we were going. So we could sit back and say, oh my gosh, look at the beautiful mountains. Oh, look at that beauty. Look at, going by the cotton fields in Georgia. It's just the beauty of what is open when you know your purpose and you know your why. And I love that you said setting an intention. I set an intention every single day of my life. I say who I am, what I am creating, and who it's going to take me to be to create that every single day. Does not change. And when you're able to do that and just implement those little steps, if I know I'm going into a hard meeting or having a hard conversation with somebody I love, then if I choose to be calm, that's my why, that's my purpose, that's my why. If I choose to be calm and peaceful, that's actually what I create at that time. And then again, that's abundance, because you have created exactly what you want in your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for this amazing conversation and letting us borrow you, Donna, today. I know that you have an abundant day yourself that you get back to. And for everyone who is watching on YouTube, we are going to continue in the room with those that are here on this conversation on abundance. So feel free to jump in. Go to tabithabenway.com to register, get the link, come into the Zoom room with us. If you have an interest in knowing about our abundance partnership and a way that you can actually partner with us, create an income, you can also learn about that at tabithabenway.com, or you can jump in the room with us. But we're going to let you go for today. We will see you tomorrow morning. Have an abundant day.